Hi, my name is Serene, if you're new here. I had a life crisis this past winter after a fertility treatment, which led me to questioning my entire life, going on a retreat where I finally admitted to myself that I wasn't even living the life I wanted to, and that I had no other option than to make all the choices I had avoided, which, among other things, led me to buying my dream house in Sweden. I want to share what these choices are and how I navigate them because I want to help you get in the reality that yes, you can get the life you want, and it will actually make you ill if you don't, but it's not as easy as a lot of people on the internet are making it look. And there is definitely pain involved. And you need to become aware of this because otherwise you will keep questioning yourself when things get hard and believe that maybe you're not on the right track after all, which, trust me, you are. You just need to know how to interpret its meaning so that you can move through the challenges that are inevitable and that will actually lead you to your dream. This is what I want to help with through sharing my story. So, from the outside, it may look like, oh, Serene is so lucky that she had the chance to move to such a beautiful place, buy a house in cash, get such a good price on it, and now she can do whatever she wants. And this is partly true, and partly the reality is very different. And I realized that in sharing my process with the house, I want to be very careful not to have the focus solely on the physical transformation, because at the end of the day, that is not what I am all about. I do like physical transformation, but I am more interested in talking about the growth path that is behind every physical transformation. So let's start at the beginning. What led me to going on the retreat? So this past fall, I did a fertility treatment, and it wasn't really what I wanted or how I had pictured that it would happen. It was something, of course, I did choose, but it felt off, and the first round actually didn't succeed, and I just felt like there's something that I'm not seeing here, and it's either that there's some sort of childhood trauma that is preventing me from wanting to be a mother, or maybe, and that was the part that I wasn't really open to, but I felt like, well, you have to consider that maybe that's not what's going on. And I felt like very torn between these two parts. Like I was jumping back and forth between the one part that's like, really, I want to move forward with this, I want this to work out, and the part that just felt like my entire life feels like shit and like there's nothing in it that I like. I had a really hard time getting up in the mornings, and I also had a really hard time going to bed at night. I remember that, and this is the case for me when I am not excited about my life, when there's nothing in my life that I want, then I feel like there's nothing to look forward to at the beginning of the day. And at the end of the day, you feel this like, well, is this supposed to be it? Like, this can't be it. So you don't want to go to sleep. And yeah, so long story short, I realized, okay, I'm clearly not wanting to see something here. And I had been following Teal Swan for quite some time, and especially her workshops where she guides people through processes where they face what it is that they don't want to see about themselves. And I really resonated with her work and the way she was going about it, because I felt like finally there's somebody not pretending that things are easy and not pretending that it's just a matter of choosing your dream or, not sugarcoating things, but that was somebody who was also compassionate, somebody who was not asking people to bulldoze themselves, but actually working with what it is that makes you not choose the life that you want. I felt a very strong pull towards attending a Curveball, which at the time was a lot of money for me. I knew that, well, this is not something that is like pocket money that I'm just gonna pay from whatever I have in my bank account. I knew this meant selling some of my stock options, and it felt worth it. I felt like, yeah, it matters more to me that I get into the truth of my situation, that I see the part that it is that I am not wanting to see for whatever reason. We all have that, and I feel like that is very important to be aware of, that we have these things that we don't want to see, and those are the things that are keeping us stuck. So finding somebody who you trust will help you guide through the process of becoming aware of what it is that you're not wanting to see. That is something that I highly value, and I feel like it's the thing that has helped me move so much. I decided to apply for a Curveball, and then everything, as it is when things are aligned, they happen so much faster than you expect. I thought, oh, well, maybe there will be one in the spring that I can attend. And then there was one in February that I attended in Costa Rica, and I felt like, I don't care where it is. I don't need to go travel to Costa Rica, but if that's where it is, then that's where I'll go. And during the Curveball, I realized that, oh, the thing I'm not wanting to see about myself is that I am being really fake, that I am hardly ever choosing what is aligned with me, what I want, what my dreams for my life are, because I'm in the game of making everybody like me. It doesn't matter. I don't even consider, do I like that person? It's like whoever was in front of me, the game was I had to make them like me. And you do that by becoming whatever you think that the person wants to see in you. And that, of course, has its origin in childhood trauma. I realized you have the choice to either keep doing that, and then you will always feel like you don't even count in your own life. Like you will have that feeling of your life isn't your life. You're in somebody else's life, and you don't know whose life it is. And you will always be wondering, like, well, what do I matter? Or you can choose to follow what you feel on the inside, because that was another truth that I realized at that retreat, that you do know what it is that you want. You have been feeling it all along. You just don't act on it. And that's why your life looks nothing like what you feel on the inside. And that's why you're in so much pain, because you're constantly going against what you feel on the inside. And you have good reasons to go against it, because, yeah, it would mean not being fake. It would mean not basing your actions on, will this make the person like me? It will mean basing your actions on, is this an expression of who I truly am? And that does mean that some people will not like it. And it actually meant, as I realized, and that was the hardest choice, that, wow, I'm going to lose so many people in my life because I haven't been very discerning with who I have in my life. If you try to get people to like you, guess what? It works. People will like you when you do the things that you can easily figure out what it is that they want and present that to them as if it were you. Why would they distrust that? Why would they not think, oh, that's her, I really like that? So I realized, okay, this is going to probably cost me a lot of my connections, if not all of them that I have right now, which is in some parts true. And some choices I actually had to make myself, that I cannot be in touch with these people right now. So it's not just others rejecting you, it's also being honest to yourself, like, you know what, it's too painful for me to be in touch with that person because they really hurt me, and I can't live with that right now or ever. And I realized, and that was a very painful insight, that the most important relationship in my life that I had chosen was based on getting someone to like me and never questioning whether we were compatible in the sense that we wanted the same life. Because I can like that's the thing. I do like people. It is not hard for me to like someone and to see the good in someone. That isn't a very good criteria to choose whether to have somebody close to me in my life, because at the end of the day, I like everyone because I feel like everyone out there is me. And if you look for it, you can always find that. You can find the connection. You can find how that part out there is a part of you. But when you want to build a certain life, that doesn't mean that everybody that you like will be able to be a part in that. And so one thing that was true for me was I'm originally from Germany, but I was living in Sweden for 7 years, between 2011 and 2017. And when my relationship back then ended and my work contract didn't get extended, I took that as a sign that it was time for me to move on, and that there was no place for me in Sweden anymore. And that had been such a heartbreak for me. I was in so much pain over that, and I felt like, oh, you're just holding on to the past. You need to move forward, move on to the next chapter. But the reality is I have missed Sweden ever since I left it. And I actually used a lot of the time at first to travel when I first left, because I felt like I'm not quite ready to go back to Germany right now. And I've been to some really beautiful and magical places. And the one thing that always came up especially when I was in beautiful places, was this feeling like, oh yeah, this is really beautiful, but it's not Sweden. And I had made that thought mean like, oh, you're just holding on to the past. I never took it literal as a pointer to, okay, you've already found your place in this world. And, I think it's really interesting this, you take your baggage with you wherever you go. Like the issues that life is facing you with, that you're working on, you will take them wherever. So why not choose a place that you actually want to be in? Why make it even harder for yourself? Why be like, well, it doesn't mean anything that I like that place, So I realized, oh, you do know what you want. You do know where you want to live. And it's not even, oh, somewhere in Sweden. You know the very exact place. It's always been this area that I last lived in that I felt this longing back for. And I had actually been looking at a house for several weeks and telling myself, oh, and by the way, not just several weeks, ever since I left Sweden, I've always looked at houses from time to time, and told myself, yeah, maybe one day you can have something like that as a vacation home or something. Maybe you will be able to afford that, and who knows, maybe not, whatever. And then I realized, okay, the house, and this was the first day of the retreat. I thought, oh, maybe by the end of the week I will have figured out what's wrong with me and know how to move forward. And that actually happened on the first day. I realized you're in the wrong life and you've created that, and it's going to be really painful to undo it, because you're going to have to. You cannot keep going like this. And one of the things that you do know is that the house that you've been looking at for the past weeks is not something that resembles the idea of a house that you might want sometime in the future as a vacation home. No, that's the literal house that you see yourself living in, that you want to live in. This is it. We're here. We're in it. I actually booked a flight when I returned from Costa Rica on Friday. I booked a flight at the airport for the same night to go up here to Sweden, because there was going to be a house viewing on that Sunday. So yeah, that was at the beginning. This is the fun part, or the part where it feels like you feel the relief, going for your dreams is not just hard choices and pain, it's of course also the joy. I feel the joy of being in this place. But of course, it also comes with discomfort, and you do pay a price. Like at the time, my price was, okay, I have to tell the person that I'm with, I'm gonna break up with them over the phone. And that's really shitty. Like, it's not something that I wish for them, and I do care for them, but it's what I have to do. There is no other way, because I am, even though you recognize these things about yourself that, oh, I'm really being fake a lot of the times, and I have a really hard time being authentic because I'm afraid that the other person is not going to accept my choices and is not going to accept who I really am. So I felt like I'm not going to be able to break up with them in a way that I can explain this to them and make them understand, which is, what you want to do when you want to be liked. You want the other person to understand you so that they aren't mad at you, so that you can still maintain the connection. And I realized, okay, that's not how this is going to go. I will be that shitty person that breaks up over the phone and, will not be able to give an explanation that is satisfactory to the other person who I don't wish any harm, and I didn't mean to hurt. And that's the painful thing, that you realize that your pattern that was designed to avoid hurt for the other person is actually leading you straight into being the one that hurts them the most, because they didn't know it was fake. They didn't think that you were doing something that you didn't want to, because you're so good at pretending that this is what you want, when in reality you either don't know what you want, or you suppress it, or whatever. So that was the price of that choice. And I also quit my job, and I didn't go too much into detail about that. Oh, it's not just that I'm moving to Sweden so I can't work here anymore. I also felt like, no, I don't want to work in this system anymore, where no matter how much I do and how well I do it, my salary will always stay the same, which is not something I can blame my then employer in particular for. That's how the system works. But that was another choice. I quit my job the following week, and I also realized, okay, you're going to want to buy this house cash, this will be the only option, because you don't know what job you're going to have. So the bank is probably not going to give you a loan, and that means taking all the money that you have saved up, which was intended to be like, oh, security for the future, you're going to put that money into the house. And on top of that, you're actually going to borrow some money, because there are going to be renovations that need doing, and the money that you have will not be enough. So that was the first time I ran into this. Okay, this is about placing a bet on myself. I used to be the person that was like very afraid of loans and owing money, because it puts this feeling of, I don't want to owe anybody anything. I want to be free. What if I can't make the money back? What if I have, what if I'm in debt and then I can't pay it back, and that type of stuff. And I just calculated in my head that, okay, no matter how much money I'm going to have to pour into this house, like, it will still be less than what I would even have to pay to own a house in Germany. Like, in Germany, it would never be possible for me, with my salary that I had then as a team assistant at a law firm, to buy a house or an apartment or anything. Like, so out of the question, not possible. And here, it is possible, but it doesn't mean that it ends with the cost for the house. So I felt like I have the confidence that whatever money I'm going to need, I will be able to make it back. In worst case, so to say, by getting a regular job, then it will still be an improvement because I will be in the place that I want to be in. And I will have that part of the puzzle figured out, or that puzzle piece will be the right piece. That will be a good starting point. And now that I'm here, it's like, okay, I'm really enjoying having the time to focus on my coaching clients. And I really feel like that is the best value that I can provide and the highest value that I can provide. Sharing both my own journey, how I'm making choices and how I am pursuing my dreams, and helping others in their journey and guiding them through the very practical steps that you need to take in order to make it happen. Because it is really not about waiting for the right time frame and for things to line up so that it's really clear and really easy to take the step. No, that alignment that you're waiting for and the, this sign or whatever to go for what you want is in you. It's the knowing that that is what you want. And for it to happen, you have to make the choice, and you have to make the choice even when there's obstacles. And that is the part that I feel like there's more people talking about it now, but there's still very few. And I feel like that is where my passion is, and that is what I want to share with the world. And that is why I feel like I want to be very careful in not taking this channel down a road where I just show the physical transformation of the house and make it look like my life is so easy and it's all so good. I want to share what it actually takes, what is behind that. And what I'm currently facing is, okay, you have the choice to loan money so that you can put some things in the house that will make it physically more comfortable, like a heating system that is, well, I have the fireplace and I could just get wood. I mean, I have to get it approved first, but you could do that. You could, whatever they would say I would need to fix about the fireplace, I could do that, and then I could heat the house with wood, which would be physical labor. It would be getting the wood, and yeah, it would probably be a certain amount of physical discomfort because I will not be awake around the clock. During my sleep, the fire will go out in the winter time, and then it will be cold when I wake up. But choosing the physical comfort and putting in a different heating system, it's called värme. I don't know what that is in English. It's a heating system that is fairly modern, but seems to be the way to go these days if you don't want to heat using electrical heaters, which I really don't, not just because of the price, but also because I don't like how it makes the air feel. But anyway, so I could choose that, and that would probably mean, taking on another loan, or, the possibility of getting a job so that I know that I have a steady income each month. And these are two choices that I realized they will end up leading me to the same thing. Because what it boils down to is, okay, if you want to make money by exchanging what your highest value is for that money with somebody who also values what you have to bring, then that would be my coachings, or gaining more YouTube subscribers so that I can monetize the channel, or whatever, like products, anything that is within that. I'm sharing how to actually fulfill your dreams, and I help you do that. And that is a bet on my ability to do that. If I take out the loan to put in that heating system, that could put me in the situation of being under the pressure of, oh, you have to make that kind of money, otherwise you can't pay back the loan. And what if I can't make that money with my work? What if it doesn't go that fast? And then you can be like, oh, I'll get a job just to be on the safe side so I can pay back that. And then maybe that job ends up taking so much of my mental space because I can't do that. I'm not the type of person who can go into a job and be like, whatever, I'm just here for the money, I don't care. And then in my free time, I do what it is that I'm actually passionate about. I feel like, no, energy wants to be direct. I want to spend as much of my time as possible doing the thing that matters to me, sharing how to follow your dreams, how it actually works, and helping you do that, helping you take those physical steps. That would be placing myself in the situation of, can I live with that type of pressure that I have to do that? That it's dependent, that me being able to pay that money back is dependent on me making people see the value of what my services are. And the other option is, well, I'm not going to take out a loan. That way I have financial freedom. I can live with physical discomfort. I'm realizing this now. I live here, there's no water, so I fill up my water containers. There is one of those toilets outside, like a camping toilet. I don't even know what you call them. That is basically just a hole. And I can live with that. I treat myself to going to the spa every once in a while, so that I feel like, yeah, that is my, instead of having a bathtub and a shower, I do that, and otherwise it's washcloth. And I actually don't mind living that way. I feel like, yes, it will change. I will have water in the house. I will have all these comforts and amenities, but it actually doesn't bother me that much. So choosing, maybe I would try living a winter and just using the fireplaces that are here, and having the discomfort of having to put in physical labor, getting the wood and keeping the place warm. That could be an option for me. What could be the downside of that is I don't have the necessity to bring in more, like a larger amount of money, because I won't feel like I need it. So that could possibly lead to me not taking my work seriously and avoiding it when I don't have to or I don't feel like it. So there's like this potential for both paths where I will be faced with a challenge, either that I could freeze up under the pressure of having to make money, or that I will avoid making money because I don't need to, or I don't need it that much. And you see how in both cases, if I would make my work about the money, then there will be a way for me to avoid doing it. So my work has to matter to me so much, or the value that I create. I am being asked to question whether I believe so much in the value that I create that I will actually do it. And in that sense, I will be like, well, of course I'm going to bring in the money to pay for the loan that I just took out to put in the heating system, because of course I'm gonna work. Or on the other hand, well, of course I'm gonna make the money for that heating system because I'm gonna work even when I don't have to, because I'm not gonna work because of the money. I'm gonna work because I believe in the value that my work creates. And I find this really interesting that, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter which of these two paths I choose, because it will feel difficult. I will feel the pressure of, now I have that, what to me feels like a huge loan, what to others is probably not a huge one. And what I imagine compared to the money that I might invest in the future will not be a huge sum either. So there will be the challenge of, you have the option to freeze and be like, I can't do it. And on the other path, you have the option of being like, I'm fine, I don't need anything, so I don't need to work. So either path, I will have to choose. I will have to choose. I will have to choose to work, and it won't be about the money. It will be, do you believe that what you're doing is valuable? And it's easy to say that in theory, of course my work is really valuable, and of course I want to make a lot of money from it. But to back that up with your action, even when maybe at the time it will not be reflected yet on the outside, because it gets reflected to you once you believe enough in it, and once you can stand for your value enough. And I find that really interesting. So I feel like this house represents so much more than just the place that I want to be in, because it comes with its own needs, so to say. And in order to meet those needs, in order to, keep this house in a shape that, the fungus in the basement isn't eating it up, and that it will be possible for me to live in to a certain degree of comfort, that is going to require work. And like I said, in worst case, I can always take a job, like an employment. And I have been really like, oh, I would be curious to know what it's like to work as a real estate agent. And I have been toying with that idea, but I'm coming back to that isn't actually what you want. It is a possibility, but what you want is to go directly for what you feel inside of you. The thing that would interest me about becoming a real estate agent is the fact that you accompany people through a transformation, which is what I want to be doing, which is what I have enjoyed at every workplace. And what has always bothered me is that, well, it's not what you're directly employed for. So that's never, you will get, people maybe say that, oh, it's so good that you're here, that feels so good, but that's not what your salary will be, what you will get paid for. You will get paid for the job that you're actually employed for. And I feel like now is the time to be direct about everything. And that also means being direct about my desire, what I want to work with. And I want to get paid for helping people through their own transformation. And yes, I'm sure there are jobs where I could be employed as that. But I feel like, well, you still have a certain worldview and you have certain beliefs, what that means and what needs to be done. And the only way that you can work with people in that way is if you yourself create that container. And that at the moment right now is through my coachings, which is where I can work with people exactly the way I work with myself, where I don't have to like kind of make myself fit into somebody else's system or their set of how they believe things work. This is where we're at. I'm hoping that this gives you an idea of what it means to actually go for your dreams, and that there's nothing wrong with you if you find it hard, because it is hard, because it will face you with the things that you have been avoiding. And I believe that we are here because we are interested in growth. We are interested in seeing what is possible, because we are consciousness that is embodied, and this consciousness is actually very powerful. And that's why this consciousness is interested in seeing, okay, from this limited perspective, how can I reconnect with this consciousness that is able of, or is capable of so much. I don't think that this consciousness is interested in being here and choosing comfort, because I mean, that's what I had been doing, and that comfort that comes from security and playing it safe and being nice and telling others what they want to hear, it leads you very far away from who you truly are, and it does make you miserable, it makes you ill, it makes you depressed. So that clearly, and I mean, all these sensations and health states or states of sickness also, they are, I mean, that's our internal guidance system leading us towards us or away from us. And these signs, when we're in pain, when we're suffering, when we're ill, that those are signs that we have moved away from us. So in order to get back into realignment with ourselves, it is important that we get into the reality of, okay, I'm going to have to make different choices to get back to who I am and to the journey that I want to be on in this life. and to get into the life that you actually want to look back on at the end. And we have to get into the reality that that is not easy, that is not comfortable. There is great joy, like much greater joy in that, because there is an aliveness in that. I can truly say that, yes, I feel so much more alive despite all the challenges and despite all the pain that comes up that I don't push away anymore, that I actually feel and go through. And I still, to this day, I feel this, I don't want to feel it. And then I recognize, oh, that's what's actually causing me more pain, to not want to feel it. So I'm really hoping that this helps you get in the reality that it is possible. What you feel on the inside, it's possible. Like for me, getting the idea or getting the clarity that this is the house that I want, that was in February. And today it's July 27th. So like 5 months. That is not that much to get on the right track. And I mean, getting on the right track started when I had the insight and also started looking into it, and things do align much more, and you have all these miracles happening, like for example, that yes, of course I was willing to loan money, or I did borrow money for the restoration of the house, but I was able to negotiate the price because of the fungus. So in reality, so far, I have spent a lot less than I expected in the beginning, even less, because I mean, this felt like a small sum for me coming from Germany to begin with. It would have been around 400,000 kroner. I ended up paying 150,000, and yes, I will need the difference to repair the house, but still, like, so much is possible, and it's really cool to witness these things. And they do feel like they happen to you. Those are the things where, yeah, things do show up at your door, but they only show up when you take the steps. And it's really worth taking the steps, is what I want you to get from this. And it is possible to take them. You don't have to do it alone. Like I said, I couldn't do this by myself. I went on that retreat, and I have been in coachings since that. I do get help when I feel like, okay, I'm lacking the clarity or the courage, or, you know, there's something keeping me from taking the step that I know I need to take. That is possible. And if you feel like you would like my guidance or my perspective on your situation, there is a link down below for a free discovery call to, you know, for you to get to know me personally and to see how I could help you with your challenge in your life. And if you're taking away anything from this, know that you're always loved and you deserve the things that you want, and you can get them. You have everything inside of you that you need to get the life that you want. And you are capable of taking the steps there. And I would really be honored to help you on your way. And yeah, I'm hoping that these videos, or now also podcasts, are helping you feel inspired and get the courage to go for the life that you want, because it's truly worth it and it's what we're here for. And I'm sending you so much love, and see you or hear you in the next one.